Both of these players used to all kinds of conditions, and we'll see who will get the better of it in this move into the finals.
Game 2.
Inside the Wolf Den at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut. One of the truly amazing facilities you will ever come to. Take my word for it. If you haven't been to Mohegan Sun, you owe it to yourself to come here and see what is perhaps one of the great venues for championship pool you'll ever get to. A lot of other things to do, but for now, it is Efren Reyes and Francisco Bustamante in the Challenge of Champions.
Oh, scratch in the side pocket. Big break for Bustamante. Efren failed to pocket a ball on the break anyway, so it would have been, well, it's better than scratching. Even if you don't make a ball on the break, anything's better than scratching. Bustamante has ball in hand with an open table, and I believe there's going to be a quick rack. The 6 is near the 9.
I asked Francisco before the match how many times he's faced Efren in his career, and he kind of laughed. He said, "We've played each other a lot."
Sure they have. And I bet they're very close in who's won and who's lost.
He said that it's pretty close. He said Efren has the better of him for now, which I thought was fun. But it's like you said earlier, Alan, there's so much respect by both of these players for the other one. It's really interesting to watch, and two of the nicest guys you'll ever find.
Well, while we're talking, Bustamante's running out, and he's got to be concerned about the 6 and 9, because the 6 is, he's probably going to play position for a 6-9 combination. He wants to get almost straight in on the 5, and he missed the 4 ball. Wow! And look out, 4 ball going to stay right by the pocket for yes. So Efren will have an opportunity now to see what he does with the 6-9.
Well, I mean, we talk about this too, that sometimes you're thinking out ahead a little bit, trying to get some shape for a shot that's 2 or 3 away. Right. You forget you got to make the ball in front of you.
And he's playing position for the side pocket, and he wants to be straight in. Now he'll draw the ball back and play the 6-9 combination, I believe. Unless he can go forward and play the 6-9 kiss shot. We'll know in a second. He's going forward, so it looks like he's going to play. He's going to play the 6-9.
9-ball corner pocket.
He's going to use a lot of right-hand spin. There it is.
At the last minute, but it doesn't really matter as long as it gets into that pocket. Efren Reyes now up by a rack here in Connecticut. Francisco will have the break. Here's a look at the beautiful cue that will be presented to our champion at the International Challenge of Champions, being held by one of the great friends of Championship Pool, Nancy Hart, the Vice President of Viking Cues. Francisco Bustamante to the table in rack 4. International Challenge of Champions, Mitch Lawrence and Alan Hopkins, and hundreds of very, very appreciative and interested spectators here in Connecticut, coming from all parts of the Northeast to watch players of this caliber go after $50,000 winner take all. Watch out, almost scratched. 7 goes last minute. A lot going on in that break, Alan.
Well, I'll tell you, Mitch, the way I feel about this fellow here, he has the best break in the business as far as I'm concerned. I know he hits them the hardest now. Notice here's the 1 ball. It looks like he can either bank it or play it in the side. And the 2 balls right here, so he's okay. He can cut it in and bring the cue ball around 3 rails. 1, 2, 3, come on out. Needs to hit a little bit harder.
And Francisco is just standing there shaking his head, Alan. You can tell he feels a little bit off.
Yes. Well, now he has the 2 balls right here. He's going to play in the corner and come down, try to come back up table or into the 3 ball. Try to hit it, and he didn't hit it, but he's got an angle on it, so he'll be fine.
Nice shot there.
Yes, well executed. He didn't really want to touch the 3 that time. He basically played it the way he wanted to. Came around for the 3 in the corner. And this is a little tricky, getting on the 4 ball. A lot of low left-hand spin on the cue ball. Coming back and forth from the corner and keep going.
Good shot there.
Actually, he'll play the 4 ball in the corner. Look, notice behind his back he's shooting.
You know, we see this from Francisco a lot.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, just under this kind of pressure in this situation, how confident is he in his own ability?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, a lot of the Philippine players do that very easily, and you don't see any of the Americans do it. Or any of the other players. I just see mostly the Philippine players do it.
Do you think it's because they grow up with a sense of creativity and just the physical ability to be able to do it?
Well, I think that too. Plus, they play on 5x10 tables over in the Philippines, so they do that a lot too on 5x10 because they need to. And also because they're thin.
Well, whatever the reason, Francisco Bustamante getting back into the kind of shape and rhythm that we're used to seeing him play. We are now tied in this first set here in Connecticut. Efren with the break. There are the two greats. Francisco with a seat for the moment. Efren Reyes coming to the table to break in rack 5. We're tied at 2 racks apiece in this first set. 2 sets, race to 5. Sudden death tiebreak. If they tie those sets and one of these two into the finals against John Horsfall, one of the 3 players to win $50,000, winner take all.
And Efren has failed to pocket a ball on the break. You know, he really doesn't get into the break as much as Bustamante does. He doesn't hit as hard. And I think he's going to have to try to either hit him a little harder or change where he's breaking them from. So Bustamante comes to the table with a nice opportunity, a nice shot on the 1 ball, bring the cue ball back out toward the center of the table. Perfect. Has a little angle on the 2 ball. Balls are open nicely.
It's going to be interesting to me to see what kind of stroke Francisco stays in. After that last rack, he looked like he was getting a little more comfortable out there.
Well, Mitch, he has a nice opportunity here to run the rack and get in stroke. We do that a lot of times, the players, myself too. If there's a nice easy rack, you try to concentrate on getting yourself in stroke a little bit with that easy rack. And that helps you for the next time you have a tough shot or have to come with a tough position.
Francisco, the 1999 champion of champions. In this event, I mentioned before that both players have won it, so they know what's at stake here. It's not a surprise to them, and both of them, Alan, have played in plenty of big-time, big-money matches.
Yes, they have.
All over the world.
Well, to me, this feels, you know, almost feels like whoever wins this is going to win the tournament, but that's not so. John Horsfall has proved that he can win, so it's going to be a great final. Besides this being a great match, this is like a $50,000 match here, you know.
Well, that's why I said, you know, it's a semifinal matchup, but how many times have these guys met in the finals around the world? We can't talk about it enough. Francisco had the kind of year last year internationally that people dream about. 6 titles around the world. Japan, the United States, won the sudden death 7-ball title against Mika Immonen in a great match.
He got a little funny on the 8 here. He's going to have to be careful here. Bring the cue ball 2 rails around toward the middle of the table. 1, 2, perfect.
So Efren Reyes with nothing on the break and Francisco Bustamante with a chance, and he takes advantage. That's what we're used to seeing out of him. Now up by a rack against Efren Reyes, and Francisco has the break and a chance to move up by 2. Our Viking News tip of the day features Super Aramis Pro Ball. Here's Alan Hopkins.
If you're a serious 9-ball player or just a sociable player, you probably ended up in a game of 9-ball where the 8-ball was straight in and you couldn't get position on the 9. I'm going to demonstrate an easy way to get position on the 9. The 8-ball is straight in the corner. By hitting down on the cue ball with right hand spin, I'm going to make the cue ball travel up table for position on the 9. And that helps me to cut the 9-ball in the corner pocket and win the game.
Inside the Wolf Den at Mohegan Sun, a lot of tension in the air, a lot of pressure on the players. Both of them can handle it, I assure you. Francisco Bustamante coming to the table up by a rack against Efren Reyes. Rack 6, first set of 2 sets to see who moves into the final against John.